Well, what do you want to know? Rather dreary these days, isn't it? As if the undead weren't enough to ruin the atmosphere, now the orcs have started harassing our harbour again. Sometimes I forget they're even out there, to be honest. Remember above all to stay behind the wall, we tell our children. And when you've been heeding your own advice for seasons on end, you almost start to forget what the fuss was about in the first place. Better not to, though. They're still out there, the dead, and from the looks of it, they'll always be.
She seems to be quite adamant about her innocence. We'll need to look for evidence if we want to prove she actually did the evil deed.
Let us see if you can choose the finest greens!
Oh, golly gosh! One who flaunts the highways and byways of silly old Cecile with the easy elegance of a puss with her tail in the air. I do declare such a sight is rather rare around here. But where are my manners? I am Maxine, and you must be one of those hunters one hears so much about. Charmed, I'm sure. I'm the mayor's cat, don't you know? Born and raised on velvets and viands of most exquisite varieties. Maxine rhymes with queen, after all, and dearest. That is hardly a coincidence. But of course, darling. Oh, this quaint little town is a tad too parochial for one of my more urbane tastes. But one has to make do, hasn't one? The fresh sea air does go to great lengths to invigorate one's spirit, that much I'll admit. And it is rather jolly to watch the ships sail in laden with all kinds of exotic wares, full of the little treats the mayor likes to spoil me with. Darling man, he dotes on me so. Heavens forbid! No, fear is rather too strong a term there, hunter dearest. The predator's instinct is a trait we share, you and I. And though those rancid ramblers may not be quite as easy to put to the claw as mice are, I assure you they are just as easily outwitted.
What? Oh, it's you! Come closer, then. Closer, huh? My ears aren't what they used to be. Nor my eyes, for that matter. Yes, hello, Source Hunter. Our city welcomes you. My elf? What elf? Oh, myself. I am Cecil, Mayor of Cecile, and husband of the stately Cecilia. I've been the mayor here for decades, and I'm quite eager to see Cecile through these difficult times. Yes, very difficult times indeed. What? Oh, you mean Cecile. Very difficult times indeed. As though the death of Jacon by source magic no less weren't enough. We're also facing all sorts of brutish intruders. The undead have overrun all but one northern trade route, while the orcs are making a habit of savaging our beaches. That's not to mention that at the top of this whole caboodle, there's rumors of some new religious sect or cult or some such sticking its tendrils into the innocent, seven-fearing folks of Cecile. And, while we're on the subject of troubles, I myself have a private matter I'd like to bring to your attention. It involves a magic relic I rather foolishly sought. A weapon called... What of what now? Oh, you're speaking gibberish. Ah, you mean the staff of Pergamon. Yes, yes. I was expecting a shipment of weapons, and among the cargo was this very powerful, very rare staff. I managed to place the order through means somewhat, atypical to a government official. Cecil proved an old fool, though. For the merchant slated to deliver it to me has just informed me that the damn thing has gone missing. I fear it may have fallen into the wrong hands, and I wonder if you could retrieve it for me. The staff itself contains a shard of an ore, highly valued for its use in the weapons of war. I know use of the material to be forbidden, but I was desperate to do something to aid the townsfolk against the undead. His name is Conrad, captain of the Tide Splitter, a merchant ship still docked at the Sicil harbor. You can talk to him if you think it'd help, but I'd quite like to avoid getting the Legion involved, if you don't mind. Jake, murdered? Oh, yes. Yes, now I recall. Indeed. I could hardly believe it myself. The Council and I have certainly had our differences over the years, but old squabbles evaporate under such circumstances. Most of the townsfolk are certain Jake's wife Esmeralda is responsible. In fact, the Legion have taken her into protective custody to keep her safe from the mob. As you can imagine, I've known Esmeralda for years. That business between her and the Duke of Ferrol was always a bit suggestive. But I've never had cause to suspect her of violence. Still, one never knows for sure. An all-right bloke, apart from all this Esmeralda nonsense. The whole town knows the only goal of his business trips to Sicil is to spend a night or two at the King Crab Inn with Mrs. Counselor. What? The undead? Yes, for the past 2 years those blasted skeletons have all but suffocated this city. With all but one trade route overrun, Sicil's once torrential commerce has slowed to a pathetic trickle. Well, I do believe that's something your parents ought to have discussed with you long ago, Source Hunter. But I suppose if you really don't know, I'd be remiss if I didn't at least explain the basics. Ah, you see, when a lady and a fellow find each other rather nice, well, rather more than nice. Oh, this is nonsense. I'm the mayor for the 7th sake. I can't be bothered to chat all day about the birds and the bees when Sicil... No, all my clothes are in fine condition, thanks. I've been going to the same tailor for years. That depends. What kind of berries are you interested in? Ah, the library. Yes, you must have a visit. It's the gem of Sicil. Would you like to have a look? I'll escort you upstairs myself. Marvelous. Follow me then. What? Oh, yes. This library is the jewel in Sicil's crown, the beacon of culture and learning in our fair city. My Victoria has every volume you could possibly imagine, and she's got every speck of information about this place packed into her brilliant brain. Yes, Victoria's come a long way from that little bundle of claws and teeth I adopted so long ago. Ah, it brings a tear to my eye just seeing her here among her beloved books. What? Oh, yes. I'll be on my way back downstairs now. Please introduce yourself. I know Victoria will be happy to make your acquaintance.
Omnes autem mali daemonis. What? What is this? Who are you to interrupt my musings? Oh, but perhaps I spoke too soon. Perhaps I was mistaken, for you hardly resemble... No. A source hunter, that is what you are. Yes, a stalker of sorcery, a chaser of charms pernicious. In truth, I cannot go so far as to say it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, for why? Simply because you hunt source, and I, Jehan, hunt demons. You are aware of course. Now, I hate what I hunt, but I respect its... This is a sentiment I'm quite certain you must recognize. Let there be strength in cunning, yes, but also in numbers. The calculus of wizardry I offer you, the might of the magician's mastermind. On one condition, that on our joint travels we will never deal with demonic entities, no...
I concur. Some temptations just can't...
Oh, simple souls. Oh, doomed...
In the name of Amun-Hor, I bid thee Tujda Getahal, be welcome, human. My library is yours, as I hope your friendship is mine. I am Victoria, daughter of Mayor Cecil. Oh, I know what you're thinking. The likeness isn't exactly striking, is it? When I was very young, you see, I must have been cast out by my tribe, for I was found in a wicker basket floating past Sicil toward the sea.
Discovered in this library?
The fisherman who found me would have drowned me on the spot, for I am an orc after all. But praise be Amun-Hor, dear Cecil was among the gathered crowd, and he took pity on the exiled infant that chance had put in his way. He raised me like I was his own, this kindest of souls, taught me the language of men, their customs and their letters. Thus, I became the city's librarian, a position I uphold with no small diligence and pride. Indeed you may. The wisdom I here hoard is yours to peruse and even take with you. All I can ask is that you return the books you borrow so that others may enjoy them too.
My heart. No. This isn't the grimoire I'm looking for. The Pseudomonarchia Daemonum. The first edition, too. Most promising.
Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she?
Demonology for dumbbells. Ugh. I need something more advanced. The Pseudomonarchia Daemonum. And the first edition, too. Most promising.
The knight in see-through armor, Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom, Stenteken. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she?
The Encyclopedia Daemonium.
What? Oh, it's you! What news? Maxine? What in heaven's name are you? Oh, you mean the mongrel that's always skulking about the place. I spent months trying to teach that worthless hound how to fetch, and it sat through every lesson looking at me as if I were an idiot. Man's best friend, my eye. I've always been more fond of cats myself.
Let us see if you can choose the finest green.
You there! A moment of your indulgence, if you please. You are the sort... No, scratch that. It is so much more than a delight. It is an intervention of fate. Mendius, at your service. What is my profession? Well, I'll tell you what it used to be. They'd call the undead a problem, my friend. But those who know the ways of the Fabulous Five see no problems. They see opportunities. An enterprising spirit can wrench riches from cold dead rocks. Or from cold dead, full stop. Oh, it's not merely an opportunity. It is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to...
Quite right.
See here, you and I share the same passion. I never doubted it for a moment. The thrill of walking the unbeaten path, the rush of finding yourself in a goblin ambush, knowing you'll prevail nonetheless. Too bad your line of work comes with such measly recompense.
Yes.
Indeed. Indeed, gold. Even so, my friend, matters of a pecuniary nature aside, what is life without variety, without spice? To be a source hunter must get...
True enough. We serve a just cause, so why wouldn't we follow our orders?
Come now. I refuse to believe such a uniquely skilled individual would settle for a puppet's role. Life's too short to spend it doing someone else's bidding. Am I right? And that is exactly why I am here. Why fate has put me right by the door to the King Crab, so that I could meet you and tell you about the marvel that is the Fabulous Five. The Fabulous Five. How I enjoy simply saying the words that describe the most illustrious and celebrated adventurers' guild in Riverlon. You'd like nothing more than to enlist, wouldn't you? Of course you would. And you can. Of course, if you still have questions, I shall answer them to the best of my ability. What a gem of a question. Straight as an arrow, sharp as a switchblade. Most meritorious of you. Now then, to join the Fabulous Five is to join a fellowship, to join a fraternity, a sorority, a community. The title of Knight is bestowed upon you the moment you sign our waiver, and so it all begins. I shall be the one to give you your first contracts, and once the job is done, I shall see to it you get your fair share of the reward. Of course, should you spread the word, should you propagate, by now the genial glow of the fellowship must have warmed your heart. It has, hasn't it? Work hard. Fulfill contracts. Enlist new knights, and swiftly shall you rise through the ranks. You will better yourself. Of course. All you need to do is
Agreed. You came on a little bit too strongly there, buddy.
Oh, how frightfully disappointing. How illogical and short-sighted of you. To deny the Fabulous Five. It is a...
Back, demon! Back, or I'll... Well, what's this? Oh, Madora, you lummox. 1,000 pardons, comrade. This old bear's edgier than a dodecahedron these days. I'll tell you, it sure does me good to set eyes on another of our order. From Academy West, aren't you? Give Captain Wartruce my regards next time you see him. Heavens hornets! That's quite a story, comrade. And come to think of it, one that might concern you. See, I'm here on, well, let's call it a loan from a town to the north of here. Hunter's Edge by name. There's been an attack there, comrade. Orcs. Not your run-of-the-mill savages either, but ones who've taken dark magic to new heights. What they want in Hunter's Edge, I can't say, but it's my responsibility to send them packing. Preferably with their horns in their suitcases and a knee-knocking fear of ever crossing paths with a sauce hunter again. I came south seeking the Legion's help, only to find it tied here in Sicil. They don't have a spare soldier to send northward, and even in my finest form, I can't clear the place of that many orcs. You wouldn't. I trained up in Academy North, after all. We don't cross paths with you Westies all that often, but it's always a pleasure when we do. Madora's the name. Retired, or so the Order keeps trying to tell me. but never out of commission. My hand to your cause and my sword at your by the skin of my teeth, comrade. The savages were rounding up villagers when one of them activated a tripwire on our village wizard's property. I managed to wrench free of my captor's grip and flee toward the forest. He pursued me for miles, but well, comrade, I hadn't thought of it till you tapped my shoulder just now. But perhaps that's where you come in. I need a contingent I can trust if I'm to take back the town. And the way I see it, you could use reinforcements here in town. I've been scouting Cecile for some time now, and I believe I've sussed out sufficient intel to help solve the murder of the counselor. With our minds and swords in tandem, we'll make short work of the perpetrator. Well, you know the old expression, 2's a tea party, 3's an invasion. I know this place like the back of my hand by now, and the orcs up north will be short work for a trained-up trio of sauce hunters.
Another source hunter on the team will make us all the more formidable against this wicked magic. Welcome aboard, Madora.
That's the spirit. Listen closely now. Do you hear it? That's the sound of every orc and sorcerer in a 100-mile radius shaking in his wee boots.
Never saw you in the king crab before. You're welcome to scratch me behind the ears if you like. I won't scratch back. I am Unsinkable Sam. At least that's what they call me around here. Used to be a ship's cat, but the clipper I was on sank, and I was the only one to wrestle himself free from the waves. The people here were kind and took me in, being the king crab's foremost patron ever since. A magnificent ship she was. Used to belong to a pirate, I was told. Unlike me, she didn't prove to be unsinkable, though. We hit the cliffs right neath the lighthouse. Not very apt a name for that building, I must say, for no light was shining from it. The moment I hit the water, I writhed around like I would on a hot tin roof. By some miracle, I managed to reach the beach, covered in kelp and smelling worse than a fish's funeral parlor. But I was alive, and that was more than anybody else could say.
Tell me, Alistair, have you ever had the fortune of challenging the fabled wizard of Hunter's Edge?
Fortune? These days are lucky defeated by Alistair the Great.
They say he's privy to ancient and arcane secrets, the likes of which I doubt you could even fathom, old friend. Come now, Alistair. Surely you've met your match once or twice.
Ah, the closest I've come to my match is when I linger over long while lighting my pipe.
Oh, careful now. Your head's grown more swollen than Saffron's, I dare say.
Whatever happened to that troop of eager imbeciles to be sent to the northern cave?
Do I seem like the sort who concerns myself with such things?
You'll be concerned enough when you realize that reward money won't be lining your pockets.
Tell me, Alistair, have you ever had the fortune of challenging the fabled wizard of Hunter's Edge?
Fortune? Ha! He should be so lucky as to be defeated by Alistair the Great.
So I was. What friends I had. They drowned alongside the rats I used to hunt in the galley. And there I was, all alone. Not that I have it bad here, mind you. I've milk and fish aplenty. Most folks will pet me kindly, and when one of the village girls holds me tight against her ample bosom, I purr up a storm. But I do long for a companion of my own kind, and in that regard, there is no one like Maxine. Maxine, the mayor's darling pet. So gentle, so fair a feline. She likes me. I know she does. But when I declare my love, she backs away. I don't know why. I have serenaded her and braved many a bucket of water for my efforts. But for some reason, she is not to be swayed. By all means, people make a fuss about them because they endanger the lands around the city. They never bother me when I'm out for my monthly walk, though. But still, I do detest them. I mean, they're so unnatural, aren't they? Cats can have 9 lives, but humans are only entitled to 1. Oh, don't mention orcs to me. Worse than dogs, that lot. Sank Walrus Willie's boat right from under him. Best anchovy fisher in the world he was. A loss to us all.
A source hunter! I'd like to report some dark magic. Only tainted hearts could tip as miserably as this lot. I think I'm one of the last folks to hear him alive. That awful scream has been ringing in my ears ever since. And with the room where it all happened still under quarantine, though that's the question, isn't it? What exactly did happen? We all thought it was Esmeralda who checked into that room, and the Duke that followed her in. I was washing up and nudging the last of the lushes out of the door when a cloaked woman rushed in right past me. I never got a good look at her, damn my eyes, but I figured the way she disappeared that she was visiting one of the lodgers. Lucky for the perpetrators, I was rinsing bottles in the back when the terrible deed took place and saw nothing more. I'm not proud to say I ducked under the counter and damn well stayed there till I heard Ivad fling that door open, but I was paralysed with fright.
Come now, Alistair. Surely you've met your match once or twice.
Ha! The closest I've come to my match is when I linger over long while lighting my pipe.
Oh, careful now. Your head's grown more swollen than Saffron's, I dare say.
Whatever happened to that troop of eager imbeciles we sent to the northern cave?
Do I seem like the sort who concerns myself with such things?
You'll be concerned enough when you realize that reward money won't be lining your pockets.
Been at the King Crab nearly 10 years now, personally. Seen every character you can imagine, from bums to wizards, passed through these doors for a pint and a place to rest.
Tell me, what have we here? A source hunter, is it? Well, my day just became rather more stimulating. Tall as an elf, strong as an orc, but your face, and my word, what passion burns from your eyes. Please forgive my being forward, but I dare say, can it be? That I have. For nearly a lifetime, it seems. Well, I'm sure you must know what I mean. Like existence itself lacked a significant component? Like if you could only fill a certain void, could connect with the right body, the right spirit. I believe I have found that component, that body, that spirit within you, Source Hunter. Come, if ever we are to be united, we must truly entwine our fates. Yes, you must join the Fabulous Five right away, as soon as time permits. Together, as a team, we'll explore the boundless realm before us. I am Anna, jewel in the crown that is the Fabulous Five. I've cut 1,000 throats, and baked 1,000 bread rolls, stolen the crown jewels of the Queen of Arata, and, with my pockets full, helped her reach enlightenment. When the day comes that I die, the gods will evacuate the heavens to make space for my formidable collection of designer slippers. I contain multitudes, you see, and I am utterly replete. Except that, much to my dismay, I had a... But then, Source Hunter, you wandered into this tavern.
Sorry, I've run out of signed handkerchiefs. An Alistair keyring, maybe. In any case, make it quick. You're not the only fan who wants some of my time. Those nasty beasts are hardly worth my time. Though I suppose I'll step in if none of the recruits manage to prove adept enough to handle a few skeletons. What do you mean, not familiar? You expect me to believe you've never heard of Alistair the Almighty? Why, I'm only the most famous wizard this side of the Distis. And don't forget, I'm the most eminent member of the Fabulous Five to boot. Surely you already know we've been voted the most
Pointless chatter with strangers does so thrill me. How did you know? How curious of you to show interest in a lonesome stranger at the bar. Let me answer by saying that who I am is hardly any of your... Can I tell you? I suppose I can, and I could. But why would I turn my attention away from this?
The likes of which I doubt you could even...
A Source Hunter! I'd like to report some dark magic. Only tainted hearts. I think I'm one of the last folks to... Though that's the quest. I was washing up and lucky for the perpetrators. Been at the king...
Simbladorix! That! Ha! Quite under my spell. Me? You mean you don't recognize me? Well, yes, that is strange. Strange indeed. But it's a strange way. Oh, you'll find out. You'll find out indeed. If I'm as good as they say I am. I am.
Saffrons, I dare say.
It was Esmeralda who killed Councillor Jake, but I didn't see her here the night of the murder. Then again, she might have just gotten a new pair of shoes. Squeak! This will is disgusting!
hearty welcome to the King Crab Inn, and a pleasure to have you. You look like you could use a round or three, so... Mind if we keep our voices down over that sensitive subject? Death and dark magic ain't exactly great for business, you know. Councillor Jake, that poor man. I knew too much about his affairs, you know. Never figured it my business. Esmeralda's longest-standing lover has the audacity to remain lodged at this very inn, you know. He's called the Duke of Ferrell. A high title for a low man. That room where it happened, it was rented to a certain woman, though I regret to say I can't say exactly who. This inn isn't in the business of asking many questions. She came heavily cloaked, but paid the full sum in advance. I was used to such transactions after many similar concerning a certain Esmeralda. Figured this were just more at same.
Alistair, have you ever had the fortune of challenging the fabled wizard of Hunter's Edge?
I saw one other figure go into the room that night. Someone tall, built broad like a man, but shrouded the same as she. Again, standard practice for Mrs. Councillor and her visitors. I was startled awake by a horrendous hubbub shortly after midnight. I jumped up and grabbed me grandpappy's machete, bleary-eyed and awash in fright. By the time I burst into that room, it was horribly silent. There was only Jake on the floor, dead, surrounded by what may as well have been a battlefield. Whoever done it has escaped through the window, but I saw nary a soul when I looked out. You can bet I hightailed it to the Legion barracks faster than a jackrabbit after that. 3 hopeless sailors. Truly wish I could help you, but I'm barely keeping afloat as it is. Well, between you and me, things have been rather slow since the, incident. But with spirits high and liquor flowing like it is tonight, the names I've had. Pleased to make your acquaintance. All you see before you is the manifestation of my great-grandpappy Horatius Dungeness's noble vision.
Greetings, traveller, and may the Immaculate Conduit's myriad blessings comfort and cradle you. You mean you haven't heard? Oh, what fortune that I may share the goddess's salvation with one who has, as yet, been lost. Steel yourself, friend, for your mortal spirit could be forever transformed from this moment forth. The conduit, by following her instructions and becoming initiated into the one way, we can each of us live on for a span greater than the number of stars that twinkle within the goddess. What's in a name, dear friend? For we all begin equal in the conduits. She came from on high to we more. She showed us that injury and malady need not mark the end of life. But for this hallowed information, you must seek an immaculate chapel. Go north, there, among her followers and friends. Go on the path to the righteous, my
He says he's an immaculate.
I feel better already.
But I thought they'd been banished after the death of the Source King.
Immaculate. Haven't heard of their kind, but I don't like the sound.
Bless the 7! I am restored!